Have you ever wondered what someone looking for a home in Burnaby really wants? Well, we're about to find out. We're not just guessing here. We're diving straight into the hard data from the first quarter of the year to see exactly what's driving the hunt for a new home. And you know what? Some of the answers might just surprise you. Okay, let's jump right in.
So this is the big question, isn't it? Who are these people and what's on their checklist? This is about more than just square footage and sale prices. It's about the people behind the search, the technology they're using, and the dreams that are shaping one of the most dynamic real estate markets in British Columbia. Let's see how we're going to unpack all that.
We're going to break this down into 4 simple parts. First, we'll get to know the typical Burnaby home seeker. Then, we'll look at the digital tools they're using. After that, we'll zero in on the city's hottest, most in-demand neighborhoods. And finally, we'll put all those pieces together to see the big picture.
All right, first up, Section 1. Who is actually behind these thousands and thousands of searches? The demographics here really lay the groundwork for everything else we're about to discover.
Wow. Okay, the first thing that just leaps off the page is how much one key demographic dominates. Take a look. More than half of all home searchers in Burnaby are between 25 and 44 years old. So this isn't a market being driven by retirees or empty nesters. No, it's being powered by millennials and Gen X, people who are right in the thick of building their careers and starting families.
And why are they searching? Well, their motivation is crystal clear. The #1 reason, and it's not even close, is buying a first home. Think about that. Over a third of everyone looking is trying to get their foot on the property ladder for the very first time. This market is really being fueled by that ambition and the excitement of new beginning.
Let's move on to Section 2, because, knowing who is searching is one thing, but understanding how they're searching and what they're prioritizing, that gives us the full story.
First off, the search is happening on the go. Nearly 2/3 of all property searches in Burnaby are done on a mobile device. People aren't waiting to get home to sit down at their desktop anymore. They're scrolling through listings on their commute, on their lunch break, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. The home search is literally living in their pockets.
So, when they pull out that phone and start a search, what's the very first filter they tend to apply? Price, of course. And the single most common starting point is this number right here, $1 million. That figure really defines what a huge chunk of buyers consider the realistic entry point into the Burnaby market.
But of course, not everyone starts at $1 million. You can see a pretty big cluster of searches kicking off between $500,000 and $800,000. This really shows the diversity in the market. You've got people hunting for that starter condo all the way up to those looking for a bigger place for a growing family.
Okay, but let's move beyond price for a second. What's the dream? What's that one feature people are typing into the search bar more than any other? It isn't big backyard or new kitchen, it's this, waterfront. It's the ultimate aspirational feature, isn't it? It represents a whole lifestyle, not just a place to live.
And here's the full wish list. It's fascinating. After that waterfront dream, practicality starts to kick in. People want a garage for their car and for storage. A pool is high on the list for those hot summer days. And then you see den, which just screams how important a home office has become in our work-from-anywhere world. And loft, that points to a real desire for those unique, stylish living spaces.
Okay, so we know who's searching and what they want. Let's move to our third section and answer the really big question. Where is all this search activity actually happening? Where are Burnaby's digital hotspots?
Take a look at this number. In just the first 3 months of the year, over 10,000 unique visitors all zeroed in on one single neighborhood. I mean, that kind of concentration is just incredible. It points to a massive gravitational pull toward one specific area.
And here it is, the undisputed champion of Burnaby real estate searches is Metrotown Central Park. An astounding 8% of all visitor traffic for the entire city is focused right here. This isn't just a popular area, it's the absolute epicenter of demand.
The rest of the top 5 just reinforces this trend. Following Metrotown, you've got Caribou-Burgitlam, West Central Valley, Brentwood, and Collingwood. So what's the common thread here? Well, they're all high-density, amenity-rich, transit-connected urban hubs. The search data is telling us loud and clear that there's a powerful preference for convenience and an urban lifestyle.
And that brings us to our final section. We've looked at the who, the how, the what, and the where. Now it's time to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and define what this data is truly telling us about the state of the market.
So if you combine all this data, a very clear profile starts to emerge. Let's call them the archetypal Burnaby searcher.
They're young and they're glued to their phone. They are almost certainly a first-time buyer, starting their search right around that $1 million mark. And their attention is laser-focused on the convenience of major urban hubs like Metrotown.
To sum it all up in 4 key points. First, the search for a home in Burnaby is overwhelmingly young. Second, it's mobile. Third, it's incredibly focused on a few key high-density, transit-friendly hubs. And finally, while practical needs are important, the search is also driven by aspiration, that dream of a home on the waterfront.
And that leaves us with one final thought. Seeing all this data laid out gives you a kind of map of the market's collective mindset. It shows you exactly where the competition is fiercest and what features are most in demand. So the real question is, now that you know all of this, does it change how you'd approach your own search?